In a world shrouded in the darkness of tyranny, where truth is often a casualty and ignorance wears a crown, a new dawn is breaking. As the commercial media empires crumble, a courageous network emerges, one fueled by truth, driven by courage, and dedicated to awakening minds. This is not just a podcast. This is a revolution of consciousness. Welcome to the network of awareness, a beacon of light cutting through the chaos. Join us as we navigate the tumultuous waters of current events, delve into the intricacies of politics, explore the realms of spirituality, decode the mysteries of health, unravel the complexities of economics, and investigate topics of cultural significance across America and abroad. Prepare for insightful interviews with thought-provoking guests who are inspired to educate you. We are the antidote to misinformation, the remedy for apathy, and the catalyst for change. This is your connection to a network of truth, courage, and awareness. Tune in, open your mind, and join the great awakening. I am your host, ORRA, the Informationalist, guiding you through this journey of awareness. Welcome to the Network of Awareness podcast radio station.
My aura is a network full of awareness and gifts like ORRA, the Informationalist, the Informationalist, the Informationalist, the Informationalist.
Peace and greetings to all the fellow network of Awareness and people from around the world and all my fellow truth seekers, or the Informationalist here, presenting another installment of the Truth Seeker series on the Network of Awareness podcast. This is called Evolution of the Spirit, Letting Go of the Unnecessary. And the reason why I'm doing this episode today is because I've come to find out in many of the years, especially in the last 10 years, I've been letting go of many things that don't work for my best interest, that are not going to help me grow. And in doing so, every time I make a decision to let something go that is not serving in my best interest, life always gets better and things start to improve and become less stagnant. Because a lot of times we set down an anchor and we think that where we're setting our anchor, we're meant to be there for a long time before we set sail. But a lot of times we got to pick up that anchor and keep moving on in this vast ocean of experience and existence. So what I want to present today is that as human beings, we seek to evolve spiritually. We are constantly striving to learn more about ourselves and the world around us. And we have to be willing to let go of people and things that don't work for our best interest. We must be willing to take risks and make changes that help us grow and develop. We need to be open to new experiences and ideas and to be willing to challenge ourselves every moment of the way. We have to put ourselves into situations that are uncomfortable because most of us are very lazy and stagnant, and we become very comfortable and we don't like to be challenged. We like things to be simplified, and through that simplicity and through that comfortability, there are no challenges to help us grow. So we stay the same. See, I shared a video that I got on TikTok, and I reposted it on Instagram as well as my TikTok page. And it talked about robot consciousness. See, most people operate on robot consciousness within the matrix. This means that we are constantly trying to conform to the expectations of society and the status quo mentality. We are constantly trying to fit into a mold of what is considered normal and acceptable by others. See, we are constantly trying to please others and be accepted. We become people pleasers. We start to adapt a personality heavily of agreeableness. And this type of behavior or thinking can be limiting and can lead to stagnation in our spiritual growth. We must be willing to step out of the matrix and take risk in order to evolve spiritually. We must be willing to let go of the expectations of others and embrace our own unique journey. We must be willing to let go of the things that no longer serve us and to be open to all the new possibilities, which are always endless throughout this vast multi-dimensional universe. In the network of existence, we as human beings embark on a perpetual quest for spiritual evolution. And it is an odyssey, people, that transcends the boundaries of the physical realm, delving into the vast expanses of our consciousness. See, what I've learned is that in my journey, I find myself confronted with the imperative to let go and to release the anchors that tether us to the mundane and venture into the uncharted territories of our own potential. And our potential is always great, but most of us will never seek to fulfill that potential of greatness. See, the notion of spiritual evolution is a profound exploration of our inner selves and excavation of the layers that cloak our authentic nature. We are not merely flesh and bone people. We are carriers of consciousness, pure, unlimited souls, vessels of an intangible essence that connects us to the cosmic web of all and of existence, which is that one creator of all. See, to evolve spiritually is to unravel the threads that binds us to the superficial trappings of materialism and ego, and instead to cultivate a deeper connection with the core of our being, and that being a soul. See, letting go becomes a fundamental aspect of the transformative process. It is an act of conscious liberation. It is an acknowledgement that not everything or everyone in our lives serves our highest good. Much like shedding old skin, we must release relationships, habits, and beliefs that no longer align with our evolving spiritual selves. It is not a betrayal of the past, but a homage to the present and a promise to the future, which in actuality is all happening at the very same time. See, the human experience is marked by impermanence. And as we traverse this long line of time, and time being the illusion, we encounter a myriad of souls and experiences. Some are fleeting, like shooting stars that briefly illuminate our path, while others linger, leaving indelible imprints on the canvas of our lives. Yet, in the pursuit of spiritual evolution, we realize that not every connection is meant to endure. As painful as it may be, people, we must discern when to bid farewell to relationships that have outlived their purpose, when the energy exchange becomes imbalanced and the synergy falters and no longer works. What I've come to realize, especially when I first started doing this podcast, I've got to see how I've grown spiritually, and things that I've adapted to, things that I welcomed, really didn't serve in my best interest. And I felt myself, especially spiritually, all the things that I learned up to when I started this podcast, that I started to take 3 steps back. Once I started introducing religion into my life, which I never did before, once I started introducing certain belief systems from certain groups of people, whether it be Christians or Hebrew Israelites or anybody who's in a new age religion, I started to take 3 steps back. And what I realized is that letting go is not an admission of failure, but an acknowledgement of growth. It is a conscious decision to disentangle ourselves from toxic dynamics, be they emotional, psychological, or spiritual. And all I say is that I hope that when you listen to this episode, that you do the same, because many of you that are going to be listening to this episode are in this same position or predicament and have yet to make a decision. But I'm here to tell you that once you make the decision, you will be better off. It may involve severing ties with individuals who drain your energy, hinder your progress, or perpetual cycles of just negativity overall. See, in this process, we reclaim our autonomy, recognizing that our journey is ultimately a solitary one, even as we weave the tapestry of our lives with the threads of shared experience with others. others. Now, to let go is to surrender the illusion of control, understanding that the ebb and flow of life are governed by forces beyond our comprehension. It is truly a surrender, people, to the cosmic dance of the universe that orchestrates that very perfect rhythm. And we become willing participants to engage in that rhythm if we are aware. We must have awareness. See, this surrender is not an act of a resignation of any sort, but a profound act of trust, a recognition that there is a grand design from the heavenly creator of all, and our role is to flow with the currents rather than to resist them, like many of us do. See, yet the art of letting go extends beyond human relationships. What it does, it encompasses the relinquishment of attachments to material possessions, societal expectations, and ingrained belief systems. In a world driven by consumerism and external validation, the path to spiritual evolution necessitates a detachment from a transient and deep connection with the eternal. Now, for example, material possessions, through tangible or inferable, in the pursuit of this spiritual evolution, we must ask ourselves whether the accumulation of wealth and possession contributes to our inner well-being. And that's why you see so many people that have a lot of money that are extremely unhappy, that are extremely sad, because they come to find out that having a lot of toys, which a lot of wealthy people call them, is not going to bring you pure joy, and is not going to be a level of happiness or contentment that is sustainable. See, the allure of the materialism often blinds us to the essence of our existence, leading us to define our worth by the things we own rather than the depth of our human souls. Letting go of the incessant desire for more is a step towards true liberation. What it is, it's a recognition that contentment that arises not from external, but from the richness of our inner world. And I've seen it so many times. Societal expectations, like invisible chains, latched on to people. It binds us to predefined roles and norms, only to keep us sad and depressed. And a lot of us, when it comes to that depression becomes a functional depression. And what it draws is a lot of pressure. Have you ever felt that pressure from trying to acclimate to societal norms to please others? I know I have. But see, the pressure to conform can stifle our authentic expression as the human being having the physical experience and impede our spiritual growth overall. But to evolve, we must unshackle ourselves from the expectations of others and society's rigid constructs. That's why for me, what I'm reprogramming my mind to do is to stop calling people colors. Stop calling people black, white, Asian, Spanish, Cuban, Dominican, or whatever other type of social construct that man has conjured up in their mind and put a spell on others to believe it to be true. And what this requires in this reprogramming process, from what I've come to know, it requires a lot of courage. And that's what we're about here at the Network of Awareness. Courage. The courage to live authentically. And even if it means traversing uncharted territories or pissing off a lot of people because they don't see things the same way. Well, oh well. Tough titty, said the kitty, but the milk is still good over here, baby. What it is, and it's a rebellion against the indoctrination of societal conditioning. It's a reclaiming of our sovereignty as spiritual beings having a physical experience navigating the human experience. See, the matrix is very tricky, people. The matrix has been inverted. It has been hacked by benevolent forces. The matrix is a metaphorical construct that encapsulates societal conditioning and conformity, operates through a collective consciousness akin to robotic programming. See, many individuals move through life on autopilot, driven by societal scripts or doctrines, unconscious patterns of behavior, and conditioned responses. The matrix thrives on uniformity, perpetuating a standardized way of life that prioritizes material success over inner fulfillment, especially here in Western civilization. And unfortunately, unfortunately, Western civilization has now infiltrated Eastern civilization. Now, operating on robot consciousness is something you do not want to do. And I suggest that if you are operating on any form of robot consciousness, break free from being a robot. See, because operating on robot consciousness within the matrix involves a numbing of the senses, a dulling of the inner voice that whispers of higher truths. It is a state of spiritual slumber, and many people are asleep. See, it's where individuals sleepwalk through life, oblivious to the profundity and profundity of their existence. Breaking free from the robot existence requires radical shift in consciousness, a waking up to the innate wisdom that resides within. And it takes a great amount of courage, and it takes a great amount of desire to want to break free from this, people. I cannot stress this enough. This is an epidemic. It's an epidemic of human consciousness. And it's an epidemic that's plaguing human consciousness to keep us deaf, dumb, and blind, so that we look for things outside of ourselves instead of looking from within ourselves. Because like many of the great teachers said, that kingdom of heaven, that all-knowing creator of all, is already within us, in every atom and every fiber of our physical being as well as our spiritual being, all happening at the same time. See, the awakening process is not always gentle. I don't think the awakening process has ever been gentle. It has been a harsh experience. It can be a tumultuous upheaval of the status quo. It demands a willingness to question the narratives that have been ingrained since childhood, to challenge societal norms, and to confront the discomfort of uncertainty. And I can tell you that I've been challenging these societal norms for quite some time and will still continue to do so. See, yet it is in this discomfort that we have that the seed of spiritual evolution is sown. Growth seldom occurs within the confines of the familiar. It thrives in the soil of the unknown. And it's time to start planting seeds in the soil that's unknown within you. See, as we travel this maze of spiritual evolution, we encounter the shadow aspects of ourselves, the unexplored realms of our psyche that harbor suppressed emotions, from unresolved traumas and acknowledged fears, and also unacknowledged fears. But it's the unacknowledged fear that really hinders us the most, because the fear that we are aware of, we can tackle, but it's the fear that is within the subconscious mind that we have to become aware of, because that's the fear that hinders us most and paralyzes us from spiritual growth. Confronting the shadow is an integral part of the journey, for it is the illumination of the darkness that we find the light. That's why I always say the light is within you and all around you, and the network of awareness is all about that. See, the process of letting go extends to the release of the shadows that weighs us down, preventing us from soaring to the heights of our spiritual potential. And in this vast expanse of human experience, forgiveness becomes a potent elixir for the soul. Forgiveness is a very, very, very powerful act and emotion to hold near and dear. And when it's acted out on in purity, it can be transformative for the human spirit. See, to let go is to forgive, to release the grip of resentment, anger, and bitterness that shackles our hearts. Forgiveness is not a condemnation on the actions of others. Rather, it is a gift we bestow upon ourselves. And as many of you know, if you haven't heard in previous episodes, I talked about how I was paralyzed for having hatred for my father never being around and not being a part of my life. And it wasn't until I forgave myself for all of the resentment that I drew upon myself that I had for him, that I finally got liberated from that paralyzing emotion that kept me stagnant. And I'm so grateful that I came to that understanding in my very late 20s. See, holding on to grievances is akin to carrying a heavy burden through the journey of life, impeding our progress and clouding the clarity of our vision. By forgiving, we unburden ourselves, creating space for healing and growth. The spiritual evolution journey is not a linear trajectory, but a spiral where we revisit lessons until their essence is woven into the fabric of our being. It requires a commitment to self-awareness, self-awareness, a continuous inquiry into the motives behind our actions, and a willingness to course correct when necessary. The ego, that ever vigilant guardian of the status quo mentality, often resists the dismantling of old paradigms. And we are now in a time within this great awakening that we have to get rid of old paradigms. It is paramount, it is necessary, and it is the only way we're going to be able to spiritually grow. See, what you need to be aware of is yet the ego too must be embraced with compassion. We can't get rid of it, people. We got to embrace it because it's a part of our human experience. That's what we came here to experience. And the ego plays a major part in it, but there has to be balance. See, in our spiritual evolution, mindfulness becomes a guiding thread. The present moment, a portal to eternity, is where the alchemy of transformation occurs. It is the now that we release the burdens of the past and cease projecting into uncertain future. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present, of savoring the symphony of life without being entangled in its disastrous, emotional, malevolent, low vibration. See, the pursuit of spiritual evolution is not a solitary endeavor, but a collective awakening of human consciousness. And as we release those shackles that bind us, we contribute to the collective liberation of the human spirit that ripples our individual growth, extended beyond the confines of ourselves, influencing the interconnected web of existence. And in this interconnectedness, we realize that the evolution of one is intrinsically linked to the evolution of all. And all I want to say, people, is that what I want this podcast episode to do is to really open up your mind as to where you're at right now and what you're dealing with and who you're dealing with. And really ask yourself, is the situation that I'm involved in or the situations and the people that I'm involved with in dealing with these situations going to help me to grow? And if the answer is no, then you need to go. So in conclusion, the journey of spiritual evolution is a sacred pilgrimage into the depths of your being, our being collectively. It beckons us to let go, to release the attachments that hinder our ascent, and to embrace the unknown with open hearts. Letting go is an act of courage, a surrender to the cosmic currents that guide us towards our highest potential. So it's time. It's time. It's a transformative process that requires a lot of discernment, a lot of self-awareness, and a willingness to dance with those shadows of self-doubt and fear. So as we navigate this very vast maze of existence, we must confront the matrix of societal conditioning and the prevalence of robot consciousness. We must break free from it. Breaking free from these constructs demands a radical shift in our awareness and waking up the profound truth that lies beneath the surface of our programmed existence, people. And we must rebel against conformity and embrace the vibrant existence of each individual expression within the human soul. So I want to conclude by saying that the journey of spiritual evolution is a constant ebb and flow. It is a dance of release and an integration. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the boundless potential that resides with each and every one of us. So once this episode is over, I want you to embark on the Odyssey and let us remember that the path to spiritual evolution is not a destination, but a sacred unfolding, a journey that invites us to continuously let go, to soar beyond the confines of the known, and to embrace the limited expanse of our true selves. The true self being the spiritual being, not the physical experience, because the physical experience is just temporary. So with that being said, when you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning and for a bright future. And don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness and tackle those shadows. This is ORRA the Informationalist, saying peace, love, and light. And the light is always within you and all around you. Peace and blessings.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Network of Awareness. If you would like to join or find out more about our show, please subscribe and follow us at networkofawareness.com or your favorite podcast listening platforms. If you would like for us to discuss any specific topic you would like to listen to, leave us a message on our website, or you can directly email us at orra@networkofawareness.com. Now, tune in to one of the fastest growing podcast shows on social, spiritual, and self-awareness. With that being said, people, living in the present, being directed by what's given in the hour-long sessions, mind-blowing confessions of improvement that needs checking. Welcoming all ears, tuning out, peace and blessings.